Well, after airstrikes targeted Iranian militia in Syria on Tuesday, a senior U.S. official is claiming that the Israeli attacks were carried out as a result of U.S. intelligence. While it's widely believed that Israel is responsible for many recent hits on Iranian targets in Syria, the public admission of coordination between Israel and the U.S. on these strikes is extremely rare. The U.S. official who requested anonymity while speaking about sensitive national security matters said Secretary of State Mike Pompeo discussed the airstrike with Mossad chief Yossi Cohen, and that they had a public meeting in a popular Washington restaurant, Milano, earlier this week. Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said 40 people were killed in the Tuesday strike, including 9 Syrian troops, and the rest were Iran-backed fighters. It said 37 were wounded. Well, a minister in Netanyahu's Likud party didn't directly comment on Israel's involvement in Tuesday's airstrikes, but gave a stern between-the-lines warning. Tzachi Hanegbi told Israel's Kan news channel that Israel would attack Iran's nuclear program if President-elect Joe Biden re-enters the JCPOA Iran nuclear agreement. He said Israel will not be left alone again in the fight against Iran. Listen.
אם הממשל האמריקאי יחזור להסכם הגרעין, זאת כנראה המדיניות, לפחות נכון לרגע זה, המוצהרת, התוצאה המעשית תהיה שישראל שוב תהיה לבדה מול איראן, שבסוף ההסכם הזה למעשה מקבלת אור ירוק מן העולם, כולל עכשיו אולי מארצות הברית, להתקדם בתוכנית הנשק הגרעיני שלה. את זה כמובן אנחנו לא נאפשר, ולא נעמוד מנגד אם אכן זאת תהיה ההתפתחות.
Now let's bring retired Brigadier General Hanan Gefen into the conversation. He is a former commander of IDF Intelligence Unit 8200. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Yeah, I'm glad to.
So first of all, how rare is it for a minister like Tzachi Hanegbi to comment on a big government military operation like this? Is what he's saying legitimate? Is Israel really going to target Iran's nuclear facilities if Biden does re-enter the Iran agreement?
Well, I believe that we have to make some separate things here, because the Syrian operation is an ongoing operation for the last several years. And this operation is exactly in this pattern. It's targeting Iranian activity in Syria. It's not directly connected to the nuclear agreement or to be a new agreement. It's taking opportunities and targeting targets whenever intelligence is possible. And the targets are the Iranian affiliated proxies, usually mostly Shiites recruit mercenaries positioned in in this case, in 3 different towns in the eastern part of Syria. It's weapon warehouse, missile weapon warehouses, and some concentration of people. So it's nothing to do with the nuclear. I don't agree that it has to do with the nuclear problem, the nuclear case, which is a totally different case. And I would say more than that. I think that Pompeo and Yossi Cohen, the head of the Mossad meeting, was dealing with the Iranian destabilizing effect in this region. And maybe the Iranian, but we have some more cases developing, like in Yemen, the Houthis in Yemen, which is a problem. And then there is a very interesting case of the Al-Qaeda and Daesh. Just following the meeting between them, Pompeo came out with a very interesting declaration regarding the shelters that the Iranian giving to Al-Qaeda, which Al-Qaeda in the past were part of, were against the Iranians,
right?
Were targeting the Iranians, and now the Iranians taking the Al-Qaeda as part of the destabilizing process on top of the other Shiites that Iranians already gathered in Syria, Iraq,
Sure,
and
of course, you know, there is a lot of developing stories in the Middle East, especially connected to Iran, and we have to differentiate between them. But I do want to segue a little bit to the nuclear deal and speak about what was said by Minister Hanegbi, the fact that Israel, you know, could retaliate on Iran's nuclear program if the United States did decide to re-enter that deal with President Biden. Do you think that that's a possibility? Is there weight to what he was saying?
Yeah, we see this more than that. We see all the new peace agreements in the Middle East are all stemming from the same points, which is the fear of the Arab countries, Gulf countries, Saudi and other countries, from the Iranian growing threat to the Middle East, not only to Israel. Israel only part of the threat. The Americans will have to, the new administration will have to deal with these concerns of Saudi and other allies of the Americans. So Israel will not be alone, but Israel certainly is regarded by the Arab countries around us as a focal point in this acting against the Iranians.
All right, very interesting developments in the Middle East. We'll, of course, have to wait by and see what happens. Thank you so much for your insight on this.
Thank you.